What's up everyone, Tyler aka Duelcaster Mage here, coming back after a long break to bring you some more Duel Commander action. The match I'm going to show you today was actually part of our October 2018 double elimination tournament organized through Discord and challenge.com and played on Xmage. I'm not going to show the whole tournament on YouTube here because I forgot to record some stuff, but this particular match was one of the middle rounds. The important thing I wanted to mention is that I'm organizing another such tournament for November 2018, and the sign-up period will be open from when this video is published through till Thursday, November 1st, so if you'd like to participate in that, we'd love to have you. The link to sign up and to read all the details is in the video description. I chose Emmara, Soull the Accord for my commander this tournament. I was drawn to her immediately when she was spoiled because abilities like hers are right up my alley. The deck isn't overly reliant on abusing her ability to spit out tokens, but I play a number of synergy cards that are pretty good on their own, like Springleaf Drum and Cryptolith Rite, to enable her. My opponent is on another relatively new commander pair from Battle Bond, Will and Rowan Kenrith. They've got a wall of text between them that basically adds up to an amazing 1-2 punch for a control deck. Their abilities synergize extremely well, and together they possibly knock down Keranos as the premier blue-red control option in the command zone. Both deck lists are viewable in the video description, and I hope you enjoy the match. Okay, I'm on the play, and this first hand would be amazing if that Contested Warzone was a green source, but given that it's not, I'm going to mulligan, and sadly get that Contested Warzone again with not having both colors mana, but I keep just because I don't want to go down to 5. It'd be a little too much. So I play Pendelhaven. He plays Wandering Fumarole, a nice alternate win condition in a low creature, blue-red control deck. Something to keep an eye out for. But I got this Wasteland, so planning on just taking that out. But first I play Shaper Sanctuary, kind of playing around Force Spike or Daze or Force of Will, but this card is really, really good against his deck. Obviously, anything that has a lot of targeting, which is abundant, really abundant in Duel Commander, it's great. My opponent goes Island Preordain on his turn, so my hopes of mana screwing him are probably not going to pan out. In fact, I'm the one getting mana screwed in this matchup right now, and he plays Myriad Landscape, a great card in a deck like this where you're trying to ramp, but you don't want to spend slots on like mana rocks or anything like that. I drop Springleaf Drum, which can make white theoretically, but not without a creature. So I'm kind of sitting here just doing nothing, and my draws have been awful. He's able to crack the Myriad Landscape at the end of my turn, and then pop a Jace with no opposition whatsoever. So I just concede that game. This is just not a game I'm going to win, so there's no point in drawing it out. Let's go to game 2, once again on the play, and this hand looks much better. I have actual both colored mana sources. I have Steel Shaper's Gift to tutor up equipment, and this card is really good in this deck. You really want as many bites at the apple for trying to find Skull Clamp and GT, especially Skull Clamp with Emmara's ability. It's just completely over the top on power level. So get the Skull Clamp, and he just says Island. I'm a little worried about Force Spike here. I leave with Skull Clamp, and actually I think I'd rather resolve Shaper Sanctuary, so maybe I should have switched the order there, but not a huge deal. And then I play Emmara on my third turn, which gets Mana Leaked, and nothing I can really do about that. He is not looks like he has Mishra's Factory and plays Aether Spellbomb. Kind of a strange card to see in this list, but I think he has a Trinket Mage package, which explains that Spellbomb a little bit. Not drawing more lands, but I'm pretty good on mana here. I play Bastion Protector, a card that's I think I like in very specific decks, like ones that have a 2-drop commander. Like in my case, Emmara was good example of that. So it resolves, I clamp it up, and he plays Impulse at the end of my turn, and just dig in for something. I'm a little worried about a second red, just because decks like this often play Slag Storm and Anger of the Gods and stuff, but luckily he only has targeted removal for my Bastion Protector. When I go to attack with it, he just Izzet Charm, which gives me an Ancestral Recall for free because 1 draw off the Sanctuary and 2 off the Skull Clamp, so I'm not terribly upset with that exchange. I think I have a window here to resolve Gideon here, which would be amazing. This card is just exceptionally powerful in general, but especially in a green-white token deck like this. But Force of Will Kenrith comes out and denies me the pleasure of landing the Gideon. So I'm kind of an empty board except for the Sanctuary and the Skull Clamp. My opponent plays Vidalcan Shackles, very scary card. Right now he just has 2 islands, or potentially 2 islands, and but he has enough to use it in the same turn. So I can't just raw dog my Emmara back out here. My plan now is just to play this Divine Visitation and then follow up next turn with Angel of Invention. But this Divine Visitation is a really cool new card from Guilds of Ravnica that has a lot of synergy in the deck with all my token makers. So nothing he can shackles, so instead he just says draw go. And I draw Cryptolith, right? I would have liked to draw a land there so I could play around like Force Spike and Daze, but I don't. So I just try to resolve this Angel of Invention, which would be amazing if it resolves. My opponent looks like it might actually, because he goes Factor Fiction in response, and he already uses Force of Will up. So depending on the pile here, it looks like my Angel should resolve, and then that Fabricate will go in the stack. The 5 I see are Ponder, Burst Lightning, Pyroclasm, and 2 lands. And I really don't want him to get the Ponder mainly, because that would dig him just too deep for an answer. So I give him the 2 lands and the Burst Lightning. He can kill my Angel of Invention if he wants right now. Perhaps I should have let the Pyroclasm go into the other pile, but either way, I get my 2 Serra Angels off the Divine Visitation. Will Kenrith comes out, and yeah, I just zoom in on this card again because there's so much text, and it's a pretty new card here, so I always need to keep reading it. But he gets a +2 ability to shrink both of my Serra Angels down to 0/3s, but I get to draw 2 cards off Shaper's Sanctuary when he does that, which is pretty great. I draw a lot of spells here, Knight of Autumn being one of them, another great new card from Guilds of Ravnica, Reclamation Sage with even more abilities. So this takes out the Shackles, which would have been a problem because Will could have shrunk my Angels down to 0 power and then stolen them with the Shackles. But I also have Conclave Tribunal, another new card from Guilds of Ravnica that's really kind of perfect here in this situation because it takes out Will Kenrith, and I get to tap my creatures that were 0 power anyway. And I even have enough mana left over to clamp up the Knight of Autumn to hopefully hit a land drop, which I do. Got Flooded Strand, and now I have Brave the Elements up if I need it. So my opponent just says fetch land, go. I draw a Tangle Wire, but first I'm going to try to attack here, clamp up one of the Angels. He casts Ice to tap the 5/3 Angel, the one that just got Skull Clamped, and draw a card. Well, we both draw a card because of the Shaper Sanctuary, which is turning out to be a complete bomb in this particular game. My opponent fetches a land for some reason, and then post-combat I try to resolve Tangle Wire, which should be good even this late in the game because his Planeswalkers are so expensive, and it would prevent him from playing either Rowan or Will. But he has Mystic Confluence to counter that. He actually chooses to do the Mana Leak mode, which makes sense because I only have 2 open mana, but then draw 2 cards. It's kind of surprising because if he bounced my creatures, they would just die because they're tokens. But I'll take it. And then I play Cryptolith Right, which the reason I play this now is because it allows me to still keep up 1 mana from my creature to use Brave the Elements if I need to. Although I couldn't do Heroic Intervention. But Will Kenrith comes back down. He's on 8 mana. So Will, once again, goes to shrink my 2 Angels. But this time I have Brave the Elements to stop that from happening. And I get to draw 2 cards for the pleasure. So I cast Brave the Elements. All white creatures get protection from blue. So my creatures will still be powered up on my turn. And now, since he's at 13, I can use combination of a few cards in my hand and this Contested War Zone finally coming into play for good rather than for mana screw purposes. But first I cast this Appeal to Authority because it's a sorcery and the other one's requires attacking creatures. So this will actually just a simple little pump spell to give the 1 Angel +2/+2, and then if I use the Contested War Zone during combat, get another 2 points of damage out of it, which is exactly lethal, putting him to 0 and bringing us to game 3. So for game 3, I'm on the draw, and see a keepable hand. It's not great. I don't have any green sources, but I have the a 2-drop and probably a 3-drop that are castable. I get a Paradise Mantle. I just play it right now. I don't want it to get countered necessarily. I don't see any downside to really playing it early. But my goal here is to just play this Raise the Alarm at the end of his turn. And even though I draw Sun-Petal Grove, I stick with the plan because I don't want to just enable his counter spells on my turn. So end of his 3rd turn, I play Raise the Alarm, drawing some mana, which is nice. Now I can equip one of the soldiers and then play Emmara, which resolves, and then I attack for 2. And in my turn, he plays this Flash of Insight. Kind of a cool card. You don't see it too often, although I think it's actually quite strong, especially in control decks that are going for the long game here. But for the first mode is kind of expensive. He has to pay 3 just to draw a card. Luckily, I don't see a second red source, so I don't have to necessarily worry about Anger of the Gods type effects yet. But I play this Cryptolith right, once again, to power up my mana, and then I try to resolve Brimaz. Would be very strong if it resolves because the 3/4 has a big enough butt to avoid Rowan's minus ability, but he has Cryptic Command to counter it and draw a card instead. So Brimaz is not going to be long for this world, but on the plus side, Brimaz getting countered gives me a window to resolve this Jite, which is not as insane against blue-red control as like creature deck, but still I'll take it. He plays this Ether Spellbomb again and suspends Ancestral Vision. Kind of actually glad to see this at this point in the game because I feel like I can kill him before that's going to go off. It'd be much worse for me if he played it on turn 1. But anyway, I draw this Honor of the Pure. Pretty great draw actually because I have 4 creatures already. It's going to pump my whole team. I like this card quite a bit, more than Glorious Anthem in this deck just because of it's so easy to cast and it's so cheap. So I go to equip GT on the soldier with lifelink, and he goes Electrolyze in response, naturally, to kill the soldier. Luckily for me, the way I sequenced it, he has to spend both points of damage on just a single creature, which allows me to play Blossoming Defense on the one creature, giving it hexproof, blowing him out, because he's not going to draw a card off Electrolyze, and I'm going to still get extra damage, extra life, extra counters on GT, and I don't attack with Emmara and the other token because I'm worried about Rowan's minus ability to deal 3 to all tapped creatures. But he plays Will instead. He's missing a second red source, so in response to the Will's ability, I tap Emmara to make a soldier. And now, I actually am 1 point short of lethaling him here, just with my creatures as they are because of Honor of the Pure. So I kind of hedge my bets a little bit. I keep Emmara back because, again, to kind of play around Rowan's minus ability of killing all the other creatures. I play Palace Jailer out post-combat just to get the Monarch. I don't think he's going to have a lot of creature targets. So my board's looking really strong here, and the life totals are very much in my favor. It looks like he's kind of doing a Desperation Trinket Mage maneuver here to get the second red source in Great Furnace. But it's pretty nice. He actually, earlier in the turn, used Will's -2 ability to make his Planeswalkers cheaper. So now Chandra only costs 2 red. She can immediately put that 2 red back in the pool to kind of make herself free. And then that allows him to play Rowan Kenrith as well the same turn for quite an absurd turn, actually. Given the limited mana he had. He also got a Trinket Mage into play. So he goes minus Rowan to kill all 3 damage to all tap creatures, but I pump one of the soldier with the GT in response, and he realizes at this point that he's dead, so no point in making me go through the motions. Overall, Emmara performed quite well for me this tournament, taking me to the finals where I lost to Akiri Silas. She never felt broken, but demonstrated that synergy trumps raw power level a lot of the time. And I got to play with a lot of new toys from Guilds of Ravnica, which was super fun. Don't forget to sign up for the next double elimination tournament if you haven't already, or just hop on the Duel Commander Discord to say hello and discuss strategy. If you enjoy the content and want the latest DCM updates, please take a quick second to subscribe to the channel. It would mean a great deal to me, and we'll make sure you don't miss out on more Duel Commander content. Thanks for watching.